I'm Terry, and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. It's this Halloween card that I created with my Big Shot. Here are the supplies I used. Along with my Big Shot, my platform, and my 2 standard cutting pads, I used the Spider Web Textured Impressions embossing folder. I used Out on a Limb Clear Mount stamp set, and along with that I used Clear Block C. I used several colors of ink: Basic Gray, Old Olive, Cajun Craze, Blushing Bride, and with those I used my blender pen. I used the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, the 2.5 inch circle punch, and the 2 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. I used my Jet Black StazOn ink, my paper snips, my Anywhere glue stick, StazOn all-purpose cleaner, and a brand new product that's in the holiday mini catalog. It's called Dazzling Details. I love that. And then for cardstock, I used Frightful Sight Designer Series paper, Old Olive, Basic Black, Whisper White, and Daffodil Delight. And, of course, I used my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll be back in a moment and I'll show you how to create the spiderweb background for the card and to give you the details on how I stamped and assembled. Back in a moment. To create the spider web, you're going to use the Spider Web Textured Impressions embossing folder. Insert your Whisper White cardstock inside the folder. And your sandwich is your platform on tab 1, your bottom standard cutting pad, your Spider Web embossing folder with the Whisper White cardstock inside, and then your top standard cutting pad, and then you're going to run the whole thing through the Big Shot. And that will texturize the Whisper White cardstock and emboss it into the Spider Web embossing sheet. There we go. It does a beautiful deep embossing image. All right, so let me bring in my original card and I'll show you what I did to complete the card. I started with Old Olive as my card base. I have a layer of Basic Black, and then to adhere the spider web layer on top, use your Anywhere glue stick. I wouldn't recommend using snail adhesive because the fibers of the white layer are broken down and they could tear. So adhere those together. I have a strip of the Frightful Sight Designer Series paper. I punched out the black circle, then the Old Olive scallop, and then what I did was I stamped with my Jet Black StazOn the broom and the witch sitting on the broom on a piece of scrap Whisper White cardstock, and then I punched it out using my 1 3/4 inch circle punch. Then what I did was I stamped the broom a second time onto Daffodil Delight using Jet Black StazOn, and I cut out just the broom, the end of the broom, the brush end, the bristle end, I'm not sure what we call the end of the broom. And then I adhered that using my snail adhesive right over top of the original broom image. I stamped the moon. Then, before I completed the moon part of the card using my Dazzling Details, I took my blender pen and my Cajun Craze and Old Olive and Basic Gray, and I colored in the witch. And then the last thing I did on the card was I took my Dazzling Details, squeezed out some of the glue, the glittery glue, inside the center part of the moon, and it adds just a nice sparkling detail. I'm not sure you can see it in the video. I hope you can, but it really adds a pretty detail to complete the card. For a complete listing of the supplies and the measurements used to make this card, please visit my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. While on my blog, make sure you have joined my mailing list. You can cruise through lots of other sample ideas, or you can place an order and ask me a question through the Contact Me button at the top of the blog. I'm Terry. I am nuts about stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.